All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be going through and talking about mobile, and we're going to be talking about our mobile platform and kind of how the world is changing, and it's changing really fast, as you see here on the screen. So we're going to talk about kind of the world of insurance. We're going to talk about the digital technology and how things are changing, where things are going, and talk about. We'll get into the IXN mobile app platform and how that can help with that changing world and help you stay cutting edge. So to start off, the world it really is changing, and it's changing fast. I mean, to give you some examples here of where it's going is if you know much about SpaceX, that changes things. They're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to colonize. Consumer space travel is kind of on the horizon, hopefully soon. That's kind of one interesting thing. Robotics, we see things happening. Like I was just watching a video the other day. There's a hotel in Japan where it's 100% robotic. There's no people. You get checked in by like a robotic dinosaur when you first get there, and you have a robot in your room. You can tell to turn on the TV and things like that. And so robotics are becoming a big part. And the world is changing. It's changing fast. I was watching a TV the other day, and a commercial comes on, a Cadillac commercial, and a guy's driving his car, and all of a sudden he takes his hands off the steering wheel, and it says it's here. So driverless cars, that's a big thing that's coming. And imagine how that's going to change things. That's going to change insurance, especially. It'll change how vehicles are insured. I wonder if maybe it'll lower the amount of accidents, ideally, right? I mean, that's the idea. And so insurance is going to change quite a bit there. Hopefully premiums go down for the consumer, and but that changes things. It'll totally change how Uber, which is considered one of the more innovative companies in driving today, it'll change how Uber functions. Will it just be a driverless car that picks you up, an Uber service? Who knows? But the world is changing. It's changing really fast. In 1969, the first man landed on the moon. And I just want to, I bring this up because I want to put into perspective a little bit about that and how much things are really changing and where things are going. So, for example, if any of you have the latest iPhone, like the iPhone X, as you see on the screen here, each processor in the latest iPhone is 2,390 times faster than the processor in the computer that took Neil Armstrong to the moon. So let that sink in for a second. So the space shuttle here that landed on the moon, your iPhone is 2,390 times faster than that computer. Now, granted, when we look at all the perspectives, your iPhone probably wouldn't survive in space quite as well as that computer. But the computing power that you have at your fingertips, in your hand, is absolutely incredible. As a society today, we create something like 2.5 quintillion bytes per day. Now, for me, when I first heard this, I thought, what the heck is a quintillion? It's a number that most of us can't even fathom. So to kind of help you understand that, if you've ever been in Niagara Falls, you know that that's a pretty amazing waterfall and a feature of this world, and a lot of water pours over it. But Niagara Falls would take up 210,000 years, about 30 times all recorded history, to use 1 quintillion gallons of water. So put that into perspective. As a society, worldwide, we create something like 2.5 quintillion bytes per day, and Niagara Falls takes up 210,000 years, about 30 times all recorded history, to use 1 quintillion gallons of water. That's how much computing is going through the world today and is being created every day. I found this interesting graph. There's a company here in Utah called Domo. They do a lot around data and data analytics and stuff. Great company. But they said that 90% of all data today was created in the last 2 years. So let that sink in too. So 90% of all the data today was created in the last 2 years. So to give you some examples here, they showed you some of the data that's being created. So Netflix, users streamed 69,444 hours of video every minute of the day. Now look at this number in the middle, every minute of the day. So YouTube users watch 4,146,600 videos every minute of the day. Skype users make 154,200 calls every minute of the day. We talked about Uber, right? Uber riders take 45,787. Oh, why did that go backwards? 87 trips every minute of the day. Here's one that I really liked, and Amazon makes $258,751 in sales every minute of the day. I'd like to have that bottom line. So basically, I won't go through all of these. You can pause on this in the future. We'll post this video on YouTube. We'll contribute to this YouTube users watch videos, hopefully. But Domo put out some pretty interesting stats. I thought this was fascinating. The reason I talk about all these things is that, you know, the world is changing, and in the world of insurance, agents want to be mobile, and you need to be. If you're recruiting agents, if you've got agents who work through you, who plug in through you, who work for you, you need to be mobile. My name is Lasse Young. I'm the president here of IXN at IXN, and my background is in marketing. I get kind of excited about these types of numbers. I like to look at what's going on in the world and how things are changing. So let's talk a little bit about like our industry. So my thought is it's a great time to be selling insurance. It's a great time to be alive. When I think about all these numbers, I think about how things are changing. Today is a great time to be an insurance agent or an insurance brokerage. Here's some reasons why. 10,000 baby boomers retire each day. A lot of opportunity there. Yet 2/3 of U.S. disposable income is controlled by the baby boomers. And $177,805 is the median 401k balance of someone age 55 to 64 age group. There's a lot of opportunity in just those three numbers for insurance. And a lot of opportunity to sell them insurance. So looking at how things are shifting, and the reason why technology is so important is the traditional, what we've been used to for the last 20 or so, 30 or so years is that the baby boomers took up a majority of the workforce. And probably a majority of, well, definitely the majority of the people buying things like insurance, life insurance, health insurance, auto, home, you know, long-term care even, especially now. But they were the majority of the people buying insurance. Well, that's shifting. Millennials just took over, well, not the buying insurance part, but the workers, they just took over as the dominant people in our workforce. And so think about that. The agents that are working, and perhaps it's slightly different in the insurance industry. You know, I think we average a little bit of an older workforce, but that's going to shift. If it hasn't already, it's going to start. It'll catch up to this trend. And if you're recruiting agents, well, guess what? I'm a millennial, and I want to be mobile. Millennials want technology, and they want to be mobile. They want to be selling. They want to be selling where they are. They want to be selling how they want to sell, and you know that's how they want to do business. So you know, I can't really see a raise of hands, but I bet most of these most people who are on this webinar have done business, if you've left your home today, have done business on your mobile phone at some point, whether it was take a call, whether it was do a quote for someone or reply to an email or something like that, I'd be willing to bet almost everyone here or everyone watching this video right now has done some sort of mobile business today. And that's where things are shifting. Recently, I was reading an article in Forbes, and it said that digital transformation may once have been just a buzzword in some lagging boardrooms in 2017. 2018 will force many companies to realize that DX, which is digital transformation, is no joke. It's an imperative in today's business market. Disruption will continue to be an increasingly common occurrence in the next few years, and companies unable or unprepared for those changes will quickly fall to the bottom of the pack. So for your business, for your brokerage, for your agency, you need to be thinking about this. You need to be becoming digital. You shouldn't walk into your office and see a wall of manila folders. You need to pay attention to the digital transformation, and this especially applies to a move towards mobile. There's no doubt about it. Mobile is the future of most industries. There will be some sort of mobile technology used to sell, purchase, bind, deliver insurance, especially in our industry. There's a buzzword, and that buzzword is challengers. In the marketing world, a challenger, or really in the business world, a challenger is someone who comes in and disrupts a space. I went to a conference. There's a conference. It's coming up here next month, I think, but it's called InsurTech Connect. And I've never seen more VC money being thrown around in one room than I did at that conference. And InsurTech Connect is all about InsurTech companies. I mean, there's companies there using drones to do roof inspections and all kinds of cool things. So there's challengers moving into their space. And my question to you as an agent, as an agency, is when will you move into theirs? You can be a challenger in your own space. You can, as an agent, and I'll talk to that here in a second, as to how you do that and why you can do that, why that's possible. A lot of people worry that Google is going to move into insurance, or Amazon even is going to move into insurance. There's a reason why you can, why that's hard for them, and why you have an opportunity to be the challenger in your space or move into the challenger space in a way. But first, let's look at an example. So, ever heard of an ice factory? Obviously, that's a rhetorical question because you're all on mute, but you probably haven't. And the reason why you haven't heard of an ice factory is because they're obsolete. But back in the 1800s, the ice factory was the most technologically advanced business in any town in America. And it kind of sounds weird, but it's true. So the ice factories, they originally, they would deliver ice to your home via horse and buggy, as you see in this picture here. Eventually, it became vehicles and things like that. But the way people kept their food cold was a revolutionary thing called ice, and they would deliver it to your home. The ice would come to your home, and you would put it in a box, and that would keep your food cold. And it allowed people to move west. It allowed people to store food longer than they historically could. And so it completely revolutionized, travel and a bunch of different things. Ice. And someone came to these ice factories and said, hey, there's this great idea called refrigeration. You guys should really get on the front of this. And the ice factory said, refrigerate? No. Nobody wants this box in their home to keep their ice cold. No, people want ice. Nobody wants to see this electrical thing in their home to keep their food cold. And so they said, okay. And so they came out with the refrigerator shortly after. And guess what? It overnight made ice companies obsolete. There are still ice companies out there, don't get me wrong, but they're not a hometown staple anymore. It completely changed the way refrigeration and keeping food cold was done. And that's not totally dissimilar to the insurance industry. That's, if you think that someone's not going to come in and disrupt your business as an insurance agent, you're wrong. It just isn't the case. And you can see this by some of the things that are going on in the industry. So I recently read a survey by a company called Clutch. They go out and they do market research, and they were researching small medium businesses and how the adoption of mobile apps is happening. So they surveyed over 350 small and medium-sized businesses, and 67% of those small and medium-sized businesses will have an app by the end of 2018. So I thought that was interesting. Now that's not specific to our industry, to the insurance industry, but it, I would be willing to bet a lot of it is. And we're building apps for quite a few agencies out there who will have an app at the end of 2018 or already have one. So the two main reasons they said for building apps are customer service and ROI. So if you're not familiar with what ROI is, return on investment. So those are the two main reasons people want to build these apps. And the two tools that are most important for creating ROI are social integration and mobile payment. So interaction is the social integration part, being able to interact with their client on another level and being able to purchase. So in our world, we've created an app where agents can go on the mobile app. They can get messages from their brokerage, so via push notification. They can get updates, things like that, on what's going on with the industry, with their business, things like that. But then they can also essentially do something we call an e-ticket, where they can submit the insurance business to the carrier, and that will evolve even past what it is now. But this is kind of, so to give you an idea of what people are looking for and where people are going. This is kind of the direction that it's going. Now, here at IXN, we deal a lot with agents and brokerages and things like that, or organizations such as that. So we did a survey. We surveyed over 20,000 agents, our user base here, and so we found some interesting stats here. And so if you're thinking that mobile is not for your agency, and agents aren't going to use this mobile technology, they're too old, or whatever your thoughts may be on that, it's just not true. 92% said that they would use a mobile app to run quotes for insurance, or they would like to. 69% said that they would use a mobile app to submit applications. So about, what's that, a little over quarters, or 2/3. 83% said that they would request illustrations via a mobile app. 76% said they would use a mobile app for case writing. It's interesting. 94% that they would like to use a mobile app to get case status. Sorry, it says give case status, but get case status. It's probably one of the next features that's coming on our platform. And last but not least, 81% said that they would read a push notification from an MGA, BGA, or IMO on their mobile app. So they want to be communicated with via this platform. So in other words, we were curious to see what agents were saying, and they overwhelmingly want to use mobile apps to do business. So it's here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. So I promised you that I would talk to you about how you could basically compete with these disruptors. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about a little background story on me. So my name's Lassie Young. You probably saw my name there, and it's a unique name, especially for Americans. Haven't seen it before. It's because I grew up in Copenhagen, Denmark. I remember when I was a kid, we moved to the States, and in '94 we moved to Southern California, and my dad he became a car salesman. Well, he did a lot of odd jobs after he moved to the States. One of them was selling life insurance for MetLife for a little while. But I remember asking him I remember he had a month where or a couple months where he was top salesman selling cars. He did really well selling cars. People seemed to like buying cars from him. Well, so I asked him, I said, what makes you a good salesman? I can't remember, I was probably 16 at the time or something. And he said that he sold to people how they wanted to buy. He wasn't a pushy salesman. He paid attention to his customers. He paid attention to their needs. He paid attention to what they wanted, and he sold it to them the way they wanted to buy it. And so the lesson I learned from that, as I grew up, and my background is in marketing, specifically digital marketing, that you sell to your customers, and for some of you, your customer is the brokerage. For some of you, the customer is the consumer. Some of you watching this. Most of what we're looking for is brokerage customers, but sell to them how, when, and where they want to buy. That's important. Our platform allows agents to be able to sell our life insurance on the golf course, in the home of their clients, or at a coffee shop, or even at a party. I heard the other day someone tell me that they used their mobile app. They were at a party, everyone was drinking. He was like an older guy, and there was a bunch of young people at this party, and so I don't know how he ended up at the party. Maybe there's another backstory there, but he was talking to someone, and he ended up talking about insurance. And these young people started listening. And so he started running quotes for people right on the app, right at this party, as they're, taking shots of tequila and having a good time. But he brought up the app, and he was able to sell them. I think he ended up getting some contacts out of it. I don't know if he ended up selling them right there, or I don't know the rest of the story, but he said he used our app to quote for them right there. And that's how the world has changed. We live in a world of microwaves and fast cars, right? We want to see things now. We want to get a quote right now while we're sitting with them. Not, hey, I'm going to get back to my office, I'm going to email you something that's going to get stuck in your spam filter, and you might see it in 3 months. No, I'm going to show you right now what it's going to cost to buy this policy and how it's going to help you. There's a mix. The future is in the mix. Combine your expertise with the latest mobile technology, and this is where I talked about where Amazon will struggle coming in and competing with you, and Google will struggle coming in and competing with you, is where you provide the value. So on the mobile side, with adding technology, you add 24/7 support to your agents, automation, sales acceleration, and data, mobility, and you add that to your mix of experience, support, trust, knowledge, and service, and that together is the winning mix. That's where where you combine this side of this circle with the experience, support, trust, knowledge, and service. You combine that with the technology, the 24/7 support, automation, sales acceleration, data, mobility, and that's what creates the winning mix. That's what will help your business take off. That's what will help you move into the challenger space rather than them moving into your space. Now, I hear a lot I hear from a lot of people. Well, I think the main thing I hear is, oh, my agents are older, they're not going to use this. And I read some interesting stats on that, and so the question, I guess, at play is, does age play a role? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, there are more younger people with smartphones that use them for apps and the like. Younger people use smartphones more to distract them from everyday life, but that doesn't mean they're not going to use it for business. They almost expect it. The mobile app is almost like the new website, where you have to have it to be a legitimate business. Almost. Not quite there yet, I'll give you that, but we're getting there. And the no is the older generation actually says that their smartphones give them freedom. While they use it now, the older generation, I'm talking probably, I think the survey that I read was about 55 to 60 plus in age. They said that it gives them more freedom. And while they use it more for more narrowed results, they want to and do use them. You know, I've seen some pretty seasoned agents use these mobile apps and really love them, and you know, the platform. So, question here is, how many hours a day would you guess the average user spends on their smartphone? How many hours? You guys can't answer right here, so I'm going to ask my marketing guy here, Moses, who's watching. Moses, how many hours a day do you think? Think about, you know, how many hours you're awake. You know, what, you're awake 12 to 14 hours a day, maybe a little more, 16 hours a day. How many of those hours would you guess that someone spends on their phone?
I'd say
the average user.
2 hours? No, 3 hours?
2 or 3 hours?
Yeah.
5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. The average user spends 20% of their waking time on their smartphone. Why not do business there? Right? And you're, I mean, are you a millennial or are you a Gen Y? What are you?
I think I'm right on the borderline, but I'm still millennial.
Okay, so he's still millennial. He's the younger, I'm the older millennial. I was born in 85. But yeah, I mean, even he thought 3 hours. No, it's 5 hours. The average user, granted, you know, maybe there's some kids today who are spending 10, 12 hours, but the average user spends 5 hours a day on their smartphone. So people are using it. People are there. This is where things are going. This is where people are doing business. This is where they're going to do business. It's a fact. So where do you start? It's actually more affordable than you think. A lot of people look at this and go, oh, I don't know, this sounds really expensive, and it can be if you don't go about it the right way. And this is kind of where IXN comes into play. But there's essentially two routes to go. You could go the custom route, and you could go to like a custom development shop and have them build you a totally custom app. And if you have a very specific business or very niche business, that might be the only way for you to go. Generally, you're going to be spending $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 on building an app, which especially for small mom and pop agencies, that's just not feasible. Or you can go to the branded route. That's what IXN does, where you go to a company who builds kind of they have a predetermined platform that essentially is you put your brand on it and provide it to your agents or your customers and that kind of route. So let me tell you a little bit about IXN. How long was this webinar supposed to go? Was it supposed to go 30 minutes or 45? 45 minutes? Okay, good. We still have time. So IXN, we're the leading mobile app provider to the life insurance industry. We provide branded, scalable mobile solutions to the life insurance brokerage industry. So we build apps that BGAs, IMOs, if you're familiar with those terms, FMOs can use. It's a branded design, so it has your brand on it. It does quoting. It does e-ticket integration. So basically, you can do quick applications to the carrier. Needs analysis, quote analytics. You can do ad campaigns within the mobile app. It does a whole bunch. I'll show you that here. Actually, why don't I actually show you here a working mobile app and what that looks like. Hopefully this is still working. Okay, we need to reconnect here, but I'm going to show you our mobile app platform and give you a feel for kind of what how this works and what it looks like. So get any messages or anything like that on here, just ignore this. But what I'm doing is I'm showing you my actual phone screen here. And so for example, if I go in here to my phone, I can go over here, and these are all mobile apps that we've done for agencies. see that has their brand on it. City Crest Financial, here's a fake agency. It's something we use to just kind of showcase our products. This has a whole bunch of pieces to it. You can do messaging to your users. You can run quotes. You can do e-tickets. There's a resources section where you can put, sales ideas, and marketing content, and events and webinars and all that kind of stuff in there. There's an underwriting pre-screener where you can run through a series of questions to determine clients' health rating, needs analysis calculator, videos, and then you can put other content in here as needed. But just to give you an idea, let's say I'm on the golf course, which I do. I try to do regularly as much as I can. But I'm on the golf course, and I got a better idea. Recently, I was in Chicago, and I flew into the wrong airport. So I didn't realize that the hotel was way down South Chicago, but I flew into the airport that was on the north side of Chicago. So I had to take a 45-minute Uber ride. And I'm sitting there talking to my Uber driver, and he's kind of telling me about, himself. And I think he had immigrated here from another country and was trying to make a life for himself. Has a couple of kids and a wife, and we started talking about what I do, and I told him about our app platform. I told him about life insurance, and he asked me how much life insurance costs. And I said, you know what, I can tell you right now. So I pulled out my mobile app. I come in here and I said, how much debt do you have? He said, I got about $10,000 in debt. How much required monthly income do you need? He was looking for about $5,000 a month. For how many years? Let's say 20 years after he passed away. We'd get his wife pretty far. He's got a mortgage with $300,000. He'd like to leave, $150,000 for the kids for education expenses. And then, we'll say $35,000 for final expense. So I said, how does $1,695,000 sound for total insurance need or total insurance? Hold on just a second. I'll be done in just a minute, guys. So $1,695,000. Go next. I then click on, or I put in existing insurance. Let's say I've got $250,000 in existing insurance, and I've got $50,000 in, or let's say, well, actually, he had nothing, so he didn't have any life insurance. So we're just going to put 0 here, and then let's say he's got $10,000 saved up. So $1,685,000. I click Run Life Insurance Quote. I put in, his date of birth. Now this isn't real info, just FYI. I don't know this info. It's been a while since I filled it out. But we go in here. We say, okay, we want a 20-year term, and we were in the state of Illinois, and he wants to pay monthly. We click Calculate. This is an ad space that the brokerage can control. Talk about ad campaigns. And then I click Continue to Quotes, and then here we have our quote results. From here, I can, so what happened in this situation with this Uber driver, I said, hey, you can get this much insurance for $400 a month. And he said, oh, wow, for $1.7 million. Well, I can't really spend that much a month. Say, okay, well, let's look at something cheaper. Let's look at just something to get you started. We just do a 10-year policy for $500,000. We can run a quote, and we can run another quote here. Now, this one has all the carriers turned on, so this would obviously be limited to the carriers that you're contracted with. But we can say, how does $78 a month sound, or $80 a month? Well, that's great for $500,000. And so he didn't have any insurance, so that'd be a great way to get him started. I then click on Legal and General, or let's say we want to go with Protective or North American, whichever one we want to go with. We can then start a drop ticket right from here and actually submit the information to the carrier. Now, I didn't finish up selling this guy because I'm not a contracted agent, but if I was, I could have sold my Uber driver a life insurance policy right there while he was driving me to my conference. And that's the way people want to do business. That's where things are going. That's where the insurance industry is moving. And so we've built a platform that's really nice, really brandable. So City Crest Financial here, that would have your brand, and your agents would be able to use that. So there's a whole lot more features to this. There's analytics. You can see a whole bunch more. I don't have time to dig into everything, but if you're interested, reach out to me. I'm happy to set something up and go over that with you and give you an actual demo. So I'll finish with a slide that I thought was interesting. So Duval Union Consulting, I really like this slide because I think it really kind of showcases where our industry is going and where we sit in the realm of disruption, because we are ripe for it. In 1995 to about 2005, the main disruptors were music, photography, and video rental. Those were, photography now you can get instant photos online anytime you want. Music, you can, we stream music now. Nobody goes to, like I did when I was a kid. I went to Tower Records and bought a CD. And video rental. Now it's Netflix and it's Hulu, it's those types of things. And then it was print media, TV, travel, HR. And guess what's happening right now? Retail is being disrupted. Healthcare, retail is Amazon. Look at that. Automotive, right? Driverless cars are coming out. Food, you can now order meals right to your house every day, have them come directly to you. And at the bottom of the list there, banking and insurance. That's changing. I think that's next. And then finally, by 2025, there's really no safe haven. Everything will be subject to digital disruption. The Ice Factory, it got disrupted. They're no longer around. Kodak, Blockbuster, none of those thought that they were going to be disrupted. Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix for $4 million. For $4 million. They're one of the most successful companies in history now. And they had a chance to buy it for $4 million, and their Blockbuster went bankrupt. So be ahead of the curve. Be prepared for the transformation that's coming. Talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you guys about how we can help you with that, and change the world and change your business. My name is Lasse Young, pronounced L-A-S-A-Y-O-U-N-G, Lasse Young. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Follow me on Twitter. Would love to talk to you if you're interested in changing your business and being part of the new disruption, being part of moving into the challenger space and being an innovative company. So thanks for all who attended, and thanks for joining us. I'll leave this open for just a minute for any questions. There's a little chat box up at the top in the green, or down at the bottom, wherever you have it set, where you can chat in any questions. So if anyone has any questions, now would be the time to chat them in, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. If not, then we'll just finish it up here and move on. But feel free to ask any questions, or if you don't feel like chatting in any questions, feel free to just reach out to me directly, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to talk to you guys about this and go over any of what IXN has to offer and how we're changing the insurance world and trying to help you guys be more innovative, more technologically savvy, and keep up with the tide of disruption. So. Doesn't look like there's any questions coming in right now, so I'm just going to cut this off. Watch for this video on YouTube. We'll be posting it there, and then but feel free to reach out. Thanks for joining.